LeetCode Problem 143, Reorder List. So this problem gives us a head of a linked list, and we need to reorder it in a certain way. Right, so this is basically the formula, I guess you can call it, of how it wants to be ordered. And then it says that we cannot modify the value inside the leads nodes. Right, so that means we can only change which node is pointing to which. So a quick example would be something like this, 2, 3, 4. And what happens is actually the first node stays the same, and after that the last node will come, and after back to the second node of the original linked list, so it'll be 2, and after that the last node minus 1, which in this case will be 3, right? Okay. So to solve this problem, I used a recursion method where at first I check whether or not the head is equals to null, which is not, or the next equals to null, or the next this is equals to null, right? The reason why I check whether this is equals to null as well, because if there is only 2 nodes in the list, then technically we don't need to do anything to the list. It's already arranged in a way that the last node of the linked list is already at the second place, right? So in this case, I have this example 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 null. And since all of this did not trigger the if statement, so we can continue. So temp is equals to head, something like this. And this while loop basically iterates until we are at the second last number, right? So temp next it's not equals to null, so temp equals next, so we remove 1. Temp next this is not equals to null, so remove 1. Temp next still not equals to null, so remove 1. And since now here this temp next is equals to null, so we don't have to do anything. Okay, this while loop will exit. So you can see here we reach the second last node, and this, okay, after that temp next temp next. Basically what it means that this 5 will now need to point, let me get the original list. This 5 will now need to point at this 2, right? Basically this 2 onwards lah. So it'll be something like this. Okay, it can be a bit confusing for now, but it's okay. And then our head next, so this head will we now need to point at temp next, right? So temp next is basically this 5. So our head next we need to point at temp next, so it'll be like this. Here we can practically replace everything, so like this. Okay, after that the temp next, which is this 4, will now need to point at null. So this 4 we need to point at null. Okay, so you can see now that we have moved the last element to the front, right? So we're going to skip this, and we're going to do the same thing for this 3. Okay, so by doing that, we reorder the list again. This time our head is the next, which is starting from this 2, 3, 4. Okay, so our head 2, 3, 4 now, and our temp is the same. And then here we're gonna have the list again. Okay, so after that we will use a while loop to reach the second last node. So it will be like this, 3, 4. After that we do it again. So temp next, so this 4 we now need to point at head next, which is starting from 3. So head next, yeah. So this 4 will now need to point at this, right? Okay, so we will be replacing this, so it looks like this. Okay, and then head next, which is 2. The next node after 2 we'll need to point at our temp next, which in this case would be our 4. Right? So the 2 needs to point at 4. So 2 needs to point at 4. After that, our temp next, this 3 will need to point at null. Right? So this 3 will now point at null. Okay. After that, you see, after swapping all of our nodes, we get a result like this, which is the answer of the reordered list. Okay. So the function will exit. The linked list is now reordered, and basically the problem is solved. That's all I have to show. Thanks.